All right, well, thanks everybody for coming. And my name is Howard. I'm from SmartEvals. I'm here to demonstrate some of the new screens in the teacher view of the SmartEvals system. Um, in order to do that, I didn't want to violate anybody's confidentiality, so I'm logged in as an instructor at a different school, but it's a fictitious school anyway. Hopefully, you folks can see my screen. And this is what we call the Eval Center, which is the page that instructors land on when they log in to the SmartEvals system. How you get there is kind of up to the school. There's different methods of having you log in, whether it's a link on a web portal or LMS, or even just an email link that will send to you. So there's a few elements of this My Eval Center that you may or may not be familiar with, but they're presented here in a different way than they were last year. Here we have the historical reviews of reports that you've just completed. Right now you've got a overall response rate of 49% on this particular instructor for their history here. This also shows their common comments in their word responses on any kind of text responses on your questionnaires. We have an ability to write a personalized thank you note to students who have completed your evaluations. Of course, those are anonymous, so you have an opportunity to send a thank you note to students, sorry, who completed it, and that it reinforces uh, their thought that they should complete these things because those results are important to you. So with this presentation, I'll just touch on the elements of the screens, go into them a little bit, and then open it up for questions. Hopefully that's okay for everyone. If you want to send a little chat at the bottom of the GoToMeeting protocol, there's a chat box if you want to take advantage of that, and we'll be sure to touch on any of those questions as the day progresses. So here we have our results ready for viewing. And in order to actually see the results, we'll just go down and click the reports on a particular class. Each one of your classes is shown in a separate box, as opposed to a table view that you may be used to. Let's take a look at our reports for this particular class. And it goes to a custom report, just like you're maybe used to already. It's just that it looks a little bit different. So here you have all your results for the questions, your question averages, once again, as compared to the different comparison groups that have been set up for the school. You've got your distribution on a chart as opposed to just numbers. And of course, your text responses for any text-based questions may be included in your surveys. Of course, these drop downs at the top allow you to search different classes that you've taught, and you can change the view doing this and just get a different report. Easily done. You don't have to do a lot of work just to change the report to go historical on it. You also have a tab here for percentile rank. And as you may have already experienced, you should be prompted to view a video about the screen that you're about to see if you're a new user to the system. The video will tell you what you're going to see on the screens that come up, and this will be prompting you first couple times that you actually touch that page. Of course, you can skip it permanently or just skip it for now. Here's our percentile rank page, and it's pretty easy to understand. We'll just take the top scores that anybody scored on these particular questions and plot it on the left, and the bottom scores of anybody that took these questions on their surveys and plot that on the right, and then we'll plot your scores where they fall in comparison to the rest of the group. So if you see anything in the red, you want to move that to the white by improving those questions. If you see anything in the white, work on those, put them into the green. And if you're all in the green, you're in the top 30th percentile. You don't have to worry about it. We'll go back to our eval center. Word cloud. This will see the themes. We'll analyze the comments in your students' responses to text-based questions and see if there's any common themes that we can generate. In this particular case, planning and reading were big topics among the comments that students made. And the purpose of this is just to give you a little bit of context on where your students are headed with the phrasing that they've used in their responses. Comes in handy if you've got especially large classes or if you're looking at the results of several classes combined. You can even preview the surveys that the students completed here on this page. And this is what the students saw in this particular case. And this is broken up by years. You've only got a couple of semesters under your belt there at Yeshiva. So there's not a lot of history that will be built up. So looking at historical charts probably isn't something that you want to get into too much because it's, for many of you, it would be just tracking a dot. And we're not going to create a chart for just a dot if you've only had one instance or one semester under your belt. So if there's anybody with any questions, I'd be happy to field them right now. Either text them or speak up on your microphone. Nothing?
Hi, I have a question. Can you show again how to break down the responses for any particular course, like to see how many students rated something as excellent, good, etc.?
Sure, that's our custom report, and I'll show you that right now. The question is to show how to view the responses and see like how many of the students that responded answered, say, agree, disagree type of thing. So let's just take a look at any report here. And in this particular way that this school has set it up, we've got these averages here shown on this particular report. The N is the number of respondents, okay? And in this column, it shows the number of students that responded. There was 22 people that actually enrolled in this class, but 9 did the evaluation in this case. For the question, say it's responsiveness to questions, was this teacher responsive to the questions type of thing? That this particular teacher got a 3.6. Standard deviation from the rest of her comparison group is 0.5. Elementary education average, that's the department that this class is in, was 3.5. And the division and the school averages are shown as well. And you see that they've got 50%. The different distributions of scores are broken up in this chart. Basically, you're looking at my average. That's how you want to gauge how well you're doing on a particular question. And I think in this particular school, it's a 4-point system. And this, again, is a different representation of how your averages compare to the other averages of a comparison group. Does that answer your question, Marina?
Sorry, yes, thank you.
Okay.
Had to unmute.
Oh, understandable. Anybody else with a question or a comment or a concern? All right. Well, I do appreciate everybody's attentiveness and thanks for coming. I did want to focus on one other thing here, and that is our My Focus technology here. And this will come more and more into play as time goes on because this kind of requires some history with the survey or instruments. But what we'll eventually do is take all the responses that you've had for all of your questions and run them through an algorithm that will compute an overall score between 1 and 100. So you'll end up seeing a page similar to this, where you've got questions at the top that are questions that if you improve upon those, you'll get the greatest amount of improvement with the least amount of effort. And you can even create an action plan, which will allow your administrator to remind you of which questions you want to focus on to make that improvement the next time you teach the class. Um, at the bottom of it, we'll show you courses or questions in your courses that you've done particularly well at, and give you a little pat on the back by labeling it as a best in school if that's appropriate. So your My Focus page gives you an opportunity to see which questions to focus on, like I said, to give you the greatest amount of effort, the greatest amount of improvement with the least amount of effort. Any other questions? All right. Well, thanks everybody for participating. I have recorded this session. I'm going to pass it on to your administrator, and they'll be able to save this for future instructors who need some questions answered. And of course, ask your administrator any questions that you have, and we're open at the support department to answer those that she can't answer herself. Thanks everybody. Have a great day.